I get an itch to play Payday every so often, and to be honest, as of right now I'm kinda over Payday 3. Right now the game doesn't really have the same draw that 2 had. That could totally be nostalgia and the fact that Payday 2 was so fresh when I started playing it though. It was Left 4 Dead but with militarized police instead of zombies with a stupid amount of weapons to mess around with. It rocked my middle school brain. I remember picking up the box at GameStop when I was like 12 or 13 for the first time and seeing on the back, "Rob banks with friends." My sister did not like that, so I had my brother get it for me, and I've been playing it on and off ever since. So I thought I'd go back and play not last gen Payday 2, but last gen Payday 2 on the PS3. One thing that started my love for Payday 2 was how much it promised from the beginning while showing off a really nice amount of potential. In the game's demo, you get to visit the safe house, learn how the game works, and play the most well-known heist in the game, Bank Heist. I played this demo over and over again before I got Payday 2, thrilled at the thought of playing more heists, as well as being promised to upgrade my safe house in the future.
Alright now, this is your safe house. This is where you spend your time off duty. It's not much at the moment, but give it some time. I'm working on it. And I'll let you do some decoration yourself soon.
This demo was multiplayer, so it really showed the game's strengths through cooperative gameplay, being able to play it over and over again until level 10. I remember just grinding for masks and money before I got the actual game. There was a lot to look forward to. Meanwhile, in the full game, there was a good variety of simple one-day jobs like jewelry store and mall crasher, and some larger 2- and 3-day jobs that you could work up to. Big oil, framing frame, fire starter, the classics. These larger jobs are pretty difficult, so there was a huge sense of accomplishment when you actually managed to complete them. An example I remember is being a low level back in the day and one of my friends was like, "Let's do Watch Dogs," and I'm like, "Watch Dogs? Can we really do that?" There were a lot less heists in the game, but it took more skill to do some of the more difficult ones. Going to those jobs was a genuine step up for me, and a lot of other players I'd imagine.
Fuck me, we needed those damn cooks. I'm going with caustic soda.
Yeah!
Whoa! Guys, are you okay? I told you to be careful.
The difficulty in general was so much harder in this iteration of the game, only having 4 difficulties when compared to like the 7 or 8 we have now. This means that the steps between difficulties are a lot higher. I feel like in this version, the police assaults took a lot longer to start, with rescue units heading in beforehand for the hostages. When the assaults do start, there's less enemies, but they do a lot of damage. Part of me prefers this style of police assaults because in Payday 2 now, they just kind of swarm you with enemies on the higher difficulties, but another part of me doesn't miss the absolute aimbot that these few enemies have. Combine these powerful enemies with pro jobs on overkill, and you're in for a difficult yet manageable and fun experience. Part of this high difficulty lies in the game's progression, which is one thing I do not miss. Unlocking weapon parts through card drops only is annoying, doing the same thing for masks and colors and patterns was annoying. It takes forever to get enough spending cash to upgrade your skills and weapons. Your offshore account can only be used to buy heists, so you can't even gamble it away for card drops. 7th gen Payday 2 is even grindier than later iterations. The jobs I mentioned before are a lot of fun, but if you're looking for good progression as a solo player, you're pretty much out of luck.
Everybody moves fucking slow. Everybody moves really fucking.
The skills and potential builds are totally different because these versions never really got the future updates that changed them. You were meant to rely more on other players and their skill sets rather than being a jack-of-all-trades solo player. You couldn't even have different builds, so you had to either choose one and stick with it, go infamous, or respec and spend a bunch of money to get your skills back. I think this system is a bit unfair because if you want a stealth build and also a loud build, you just can't. So if you want to do Firestarter day 1 loud, but days 2 and 3 quiet, you're kinda screwed. You can do a little bit of both and not be able to spec as much as you'd like in either tree. There's no perk decks either, so you're limited to just skills. This is probably the first time I'm playing this game and being like, I don't want to get Inspire aced, my solo teammates are not worth keeping up. If you managed to get a few friends back in the day on this version instead of your crappy AI teammates, it was like a 10 out of 10 experience. The amazing music combined with gunfire, heisters shouting, your friends shouting, and Bane yapping in your ear is an experience that can't really be matched. There's an amazing sense of teamwork, and while that does take away from solo play, Payday was always kind of meant to be experienced with friends. Some of my favorite memories with Payday 2 was playing really difficult heists like Rats and talking about it with my friends in the hallways the next day at school. And believe it or not, people are still playing this version. I don't know why, but I guess I am here too. I played a few online heists and got carried, except for this one time I was on Firestarter and made it to day 3, and the host wanted the hockey picture, and none of us had saws, and then he kicked out one of us for not picking the locks, and I felt like I was in the coal mines and my hand hurt like hell afterwards. If you know, you know. Anyway, the weapons and gunplay the game has are still pretty top-notch for me, and it's part of what keeps me coming back to any version of this game. Although you absolutely cannot bring low-level guns on high-level heists. If there's a taser or a cloaker on very hard, you can put a whole mag into him and he's not going down. Meanwhile, the old reload animations are just lovely, and add a sense of professionalism to the experience. I could watch them all day. Older Payday was a lot more professional in general, though I do love a lot of the goofier weapons and heists we have now. Looking back, Payday 2 on 7th gen has so much less content than I remember, but that variety is still there, as grindy as it was. We were promised a lot, to the point where there was a dedicated content updates tab. The Infamy tab still alludes to further updates and Infamy progression in the future, and to stay tuned. I remember not having a PC powerful enough to play this game, and only following the Xbox 360 updates. So when I told one of my friends that we have the armored transport heists now, he was like, we have Hotline Miami, Bank Heist, and Hawks and Breakout, and I was really disappointed. Overkill would completely abandon this version of the game in favor of the Xbox One, PS4, and PC versions, with only a couple DLC packs released on the Xbox 360 and PS3. These packs were the Gauge weapon packs and the Armored Transport DLC. I'll admit, it's kinda scummy to lock not one but 3 whole weapon types behind paid DLC, but that's just how Overkill did it. Only one person had to own the DLC in order to play multiplayer with 4 people though, which is cool. What really sucks is that Overkill promised to keep the next-gen version of Payday 2 more updated, but that just ended up with them releasing a few huge updates every few years on Xbox One and PS4. Console players were absolutely not their priority. Don't even think about the Switch version. While Payday 2 itself was disappointing in some aspects, like the console versions not really getting updates and the safe house not being upgradable at all, the core game was still fun by itself. I still had a lot of fun coming back to this version and upgrading my character. Wolf's still my absolute favorite.
Nothing at all happening over here.
Thank you so much for watching. If you have any old Payday 2 experiences that you'd like to share, let me know in the comments. I made a ton of amazing memories in this game with some of my closest friends, and I bet a lot of you have as well.